and then we'll fill for a minute, and then we'll do a thing. Like an episode thing.
Yes.
You know, those things that we do.
Yes. Yep. Are we filling right now?
Yeah.
Are we? Yeah, we're filling.
Yeah.
Nice. Dork, do you
Fill
like
me
to
up.
fill?
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Glad Renee's not here. I mean, what?
Exactly.
Might be like, what are you wackos talking about?
That or she'd be sending me, like, moderately perverted, like, text messages.
Nice.
Because I said...
This has nothing...
I said, fill me up.
This has nothing to do with anything, but before we get into this episode proper, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, especially if you've seen... I have never read the comics, but if you've seen the movie, by the end of the first episode, you should be like, haha.
Nice. Well, you know I've seen the movie.
Yes, I do. Because you took me to it.
Yeah, was that when you passed the bar?
That was when I passed the bar.
Yeah, we went
celebrate,
to see
you took me.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2010.
Oh, God, really?
Yep.
That's awful. Amanda sent me a screenshot earlier of a Reddit thread that said, what old movie, parentheses 20 plus years, still holds up today? And there was a response under that said, gentle warning, 20 years ago was 2001, not 1990. And there was a reply to that said, could you kindly shut your whore mouth? Gently, of course.
Yeah, I mean, could have been gentler. It's not factually inaccurate, but it hurts in the mouth.
Like that thing, what you think Zelda 20 years ago was, and it's Link to the Past. And like, what Zelda 20 years ago actually was, and it's like Wind Waker. Like, oh!
Yeah. I was on YouTube the other day, and I saw just random, like, here's a video of somebody playing the final boss from Skyward Sword. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a great game. And it said posted 12 years ago. And I'm like, That's not true. That's not possible.
Oh, God.
No. Oh, yeah. Have we filled enough? Or
are we
still...
yeah, we have filled way too much.
Ooh.
So there you go,
Stop.
YouTube. You get that random filling. But all right, here we go. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode... I hope this is right. I didn't actually check. I just added 1 to the number. And the last time I did that, I was like 3 off. Okay, yeah, this is episode 692 of the Mana Pool. Got it right this time.
Wow.
Yay.
And
that means it's been... Go ahead.
And I'm Chewy, but I'm also the Angel, because that's right. It's only been a year and a half. I'm so sorry. Since the last RPG episode. So now we're
40 numbered episodes, not including times where we got together and it wasn't a numbered episode, because it was episode 652, Return to the Tower.
Yeah.
I'm Brian. I'm your game master talker guy, guiding them / watching them do amazing crap like destroy merfolk heads and get turned into the undead. Wait, that's still the same guy. So yeah. The guy who's up next, by the way.
Yes, I'm Mike.
Normally, I'm the rules guy and game lore guy for an entirely different game, but here I am Karim, the soldier, and also a vampire.
And I am Dirk, usually the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. However, when we do the RPG, I am Alaric, the monk.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm still the angel. An angel.
She has no class.
I'm very classy. Thank you very much.
She's
I have
actually
no
one
job.
of the classier.
Big old Schwartz.
So, not gonna do a full campaign recap as we have figured out that this is the 17th episode of the RPG, 18th if you include the character creation episode. So we have been doing this for a while, and I want to thank these guys. It's been kind of a long road. And I want to thank everybody that has chimed in with how much they enjoy these episodes. We don't do them a whole lot, but we enjoy it when we do. So, not a full recap, but you guys are on the plane of Trivester. You can't leave. Why can't you leave? You're all planeswalkers? Don't know. That's what you've been trying to figure out. You've been trying to track down the planeswalker who's kind of considered the figurehead leader, father figure to this entire plane, Donathier, who may or may not be dead, alive, missing. No one knows. In your searches, you've come across a lot of stuff. You visited the tower that seemed to be his headquarters or last known location. You were unable to get in, so you went a bunch of other places, and now you're back. You have successfully opened the door. Good job. It only took you like 15 episodes to open a door. That's actually pretty good. Faster than I was expecting. And you are accompanied, it's not just the three of you, you are accompanied by Seer, a mysterious woman who appeared fairly early in the campaign and then vanished for a while you were doing other things. In the last episode, she showed up outside the tower named Noatune, and she was with Alana, a young lady that Karim got to know pretty well right before he became a vampire. And it seemed that she had been acting not of her own accord, and she had stolen a scroll from the vampire that Karim took care of, and apparently at the direction of Seer. Seer has commanded her to sit down and wait, so she sat down, cross-legged, and outside the tower, and is awaiting further instruction. The three of you and her inserted the key, opened the door, and just as a reminder, you find yourself on the first floor of what appeared from the outside to maybe be 3 stories or so. It's not the tallest tower, but you walk inside and you immediately have the sensation of it's bigger in here than it should be. It's bigger on the inside than the outside. The interior room is a sphere, and as I described it last time, it's kind of like a donut, where there's a pillar kind of in the middle, and you can see around this pillar fairly well. It's a fairly large pillar, but you can see on both sides. There's a staircase going up on the far end across from you, and the walls are covered in magical, apparently, glyphs that are glowing a blue color. And you study them for a bit, and the glyphs seem to have something to do with illumination, light. Seer lets out a loud, finally! And you are inside the tower. And that is the recap. So.
Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
I'm powering up.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. I'm still powering up.
Insert, PG swears. Darn you, Frieza! Blowing up my planet. I should be angry about that for some reason.
I'm gonna blow it up in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, world's longest 5 minutes.
How else is this room decorated? Is it just the illumination glyphs on the walls, or is there also furniture or other decorations or art?
There does not appear to be any furniture or decorations. It's very utilitarian. The walls On the outside, if you remember, this tower is made of Kamat, the red substance that is later refined into Ethereum. Um, on the inside, it appears to be a kind of almost bluish steel, silver steel sort. You do not see any furniture. All you see is it's very Spartan. All you see is the glyphs. There's nothing else really ornamenting this room. Um, I will say that there's a if you look around, it's very obvious that it has been a long time since anyone has been in here. There's just a fine layer of little dust on certain surfaces, and some of the glyphs. You know how Christmas tree lights they're kind of starting to go out a bit. Maybe it flickers a bit. Most of the glyphs are doing just fine, but every maybe 10th glyph or so is kind of fading a bit. So, not the air is stale. No signs that anyone has been in here for a long time.
I gotta tell you guys, I don't like this.
No.
I'm gonna
Sears
while we're standing here, I'm gonna do the crap. What's it called? Hang on, spiritual awareness thing to see if I can sense anything.
Okay. So I know I reworked this a bit, so I'm just turning to my angel page. Yes. Okay. Go ahead and roll a d10 for me, just to get a sense of this.
Hang on, I gotta remember which one's a 10. This one's a 10. I have not touched these dice since the last time we did this episode, a year and a half ago.
You can tell that he does not play other tabletop games.
I do not. People who play D&D or Pathfinder or whatever are a bunch of smelly nerds. Oh, hey guys. All right, I rolled is that a 6 or a 9? The line's on the bottom, so that's a 9.
So a 9. Well, with that, I would say, so you don't detect a strong sense in your immediate surroundings of any undead
Except for
or
Karim,
demonic
obviously.
Except for Karim, who's just like giving off this black aura. You don't get a sense of undead or demonic creatures or objects connected with black or white mana around you necessarily. You do get a faint pulse of something overhead, but it's a good ways away. And with a 9, spreading your sense as far as you can, you've known your companions for a while, that they feel what they're feeling, a bit anxiety, trepidation, perhaps curiousness. Seer is trying to appear outwardly calm, but is like almost bubbling over with excitement inside, just tingly.
That is what I expected from the finally.
Yeah, but she had that exultation, then kind of pulled it in a bit. The casual observer might be like, okay, she's kind of gathered herself, but with your spiritual awareness, she's kind of on her tippy toes, basically, straining against herself emotionally.
So I'm gonna turn to Seer, raise an eyebrow, and be like, "You okay?"
I'm perfectly fine, but this is what I've been hoping to do. I've been hoping to get in here for such a long time. As you're talking to her, she goes over, runs her hand alongside some of the glyphs, and where her hand touches, each one goes out for a moment and then comes back, and a little blue spot appears on her skin and then likewise fades, and she just kind of almost shivers a bit, like, ooh. Then she turns to you, she says, "You have to understand, Donathier has been like a father figure to me. And this will help us finally put all the answers to what's happened to him to rest."
All right, that sounds reasonable.
Go ahead.
I'm going to try and establish a connection with the tower.
Okay, so
like
you want to try and establish a mana bond with no attune.
Yep.
All right. So, while everybody else is taking this in, Alaric kind of goes into a meditative pose. Let's see. I want to see here your existing mana sources. You've got forest, embla, grove, and jungle. All right. So go ahead and roll a d6, please. I will say this process seems to take just a minute, so everybody else is just kind of like doing their own thing while Alaric spreads his hands
Looks
out,
for
kind
a
of brings them
D6.
together. He does that too. While he's doing that, Kareem, what are you doing?
Seer, now that we've gotten inside, do you know about any security measures here that we would need to be on the lookout for as we explore deeper in here?
She seems a bit distracted by the runes as she's kind of watching over, and but she hears you, and she's like, "Yes, actually." And she takes out the scroll that Alana had given her, and she says, "With this scroll, we should be able to bypass the security on the second floor. Um, After that, I'm not really sure. Donathier kept to himself on the floors above that, and so I was never able to go up there, and I kind of respected his wishes. I think between the fact that the door was locked and the security measures on the second floor, I wouldn't expect a lot beyond that. But you guys are clearly capable of taking care of yourselves, so hopefully it won't even come up. Dirk, you roll that d6 yet?
5.
5. You spend a good 10 minutes and finally you just give up. This place is cold. Your mana bonds have generally been with places of nature where you feel like a connection to the land itself. And there's something to this tower, but it's resisting you. So you failed to make a connection to the tower today.
All right, then. Where should we go?
I guess we go up.
Yeah, I'm getting a vibe from up there, but it's very far away.
Seer says, "Really? I mean, this seems fascinating down here, but I don't think we're gonna get any answers on this floor. So we really don't have a choice but to go up."
All right, let's press on.
So, all right. So you all go around the donut, so to speak, and you start ascending the stairs. As a reminder, the stairs are kind of on the far wall, and they kind of mold to the wall. So you're heading up, and then you think you're about to head up onto a second floor, and you realize, oh, there's just a ceiling here, and it looks like it's just there's not really a way up. Seer takes out the scroll, touches one end of the scroll rod itself to the ceiling. There's a hissing sound, and lines kind of form to make a about 7-foot door at its longest point, 7 foot by 3 foot, and then an invisible line almost seems to crack in the middle and opens up above you.
Well, that's handy.
All right.
She said, "That's pretty much why I wanted this." Master Donathier he trusted me, but he had closer associates. Your vampire friend, not that one, the one that I think he dealt with, was one of them. So that's why he was allowed access. But she starts to unravel the scroll, reads it a bit, folds it back up, starts to go up. You follow her.
Yep.
Similar layout. another donut, but you notice that somehow the pillar in the middle is maybe not almost indiscernible at first, but as you stare at it, it's maybe 5 to 7 feet wider in diameter. So still have this kind of like donut structure, but the central pillar is larger. The outside does not appear to be any wider because it's the tower. It's not expanding outward like Mercadia's inverted cone. It's more or less straight up, but the center is getting bigger. There are multiple glyphs on these walls. They do appear to be dimmer than the blue ones downstairs, and these are a deep red color. You also notice that whereas the floor downstairs was smooth, it appears at first that the floor here is cracked, but upon a moment's consideration, you see, no, it's tiles, but the tiles appear to be roughly hexagonal in shape. And looking across the room, you see another set of stairs, similar to the one you just ascended. However, at the base of those stairs, it seems like the base of the stairs, there's a glass wall separating the bottom of the stairs from the rest of the room.
And any other adornments or anything here, or is it just us and the glyphs and the stairs and the glass?
Let's see. Well, you, as a vampire, this space is a little darker than the last one, but you would look around. It's interesting. The walls themselves do not appear to be completely smooth, whereas they were smooth downstairs. The walls here, not of the central pillar, that's still smooth, but the walls where the glyphs are bulge and kind of come into the room a bit in odd ways and shapes. You're thinking maybe at first it's art, but it's almost like someone just basically took a chisel and kind of half-heartedly chiseled out the shape of a circle, so that you have these odd places where it just kind of bulges out. No other art, no other furniture or anything on this floor. Again, you do see the glass, almost like a glass case, surrounding the far wall. You, again, with your ability to see a little better, the glass itself also appears to bulge in odd places. Interesting design choice. And you don't see a door at the glass.
Does your skull work on that over there too?
She says, yes, that's what, and she kind of flips it. You saw that where she touched kind of the one end of the scroll rod to the ceiling was one point, almost like in a triangle. The other point is more round. She says, according to the instructions, this end should open that up. I'm a bit concerned, though, she says, looking around at the glyphs. This is, from what I can tell, the security floor. The whole point of this floor is to make sure that other people can't get in.
So should we
Okay, my headphones just decided to shut off for a second there. That was really weird. I was saying that she was concerned it was the security one, but some of the glyphs don't look stable. They look like they've eroded over time. Did anyone say anything while my headset decided to, fart itself out there for a second?
I said
No. I thought my connection had dropped. I didn't hear what Chewie said, so maybe my connection did drop.
Oh, so it sounds like it was probably an internet thing on my end. My bad.
Well, who knows? It was probably my fault. Let's just say it's my fault and keep moving. So.
But all I said was in response to that, because that's all I got out before you started talking again. I'm
He takes out
unsure
Go ahead.
if we should we be messing around on this floor?
I don't know. I'll run my hands across some of the bumps on the walls near us.
It feels like an odd texture to it. Like, it doesn't feel... Part of it feels a little smooth, and then part of it feels weird, like it's some sort of soft rock. So it's not even. Some of it is borderline porous. She takes out the scroll again and she says, yeah, there are supposed to be safeguards in place. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but we might want to be careful. The scroll is not specific.
Do you think these things are wearing out, or do you think someone's been through here and disarmed them?
I think it's extremely unlikely that anyone besides us has been in here since Donathier disappeared, which has been a couple decades. So I'm wondering if maybe it's a power situation. I mean, mana isn't infinite. So, which is kind of a problem for the whole plane. But anyway. Yeah, I'm concerned that whereas I wouldn't normally have access to here anyway, but now I'm not entirely sure. I just don't want. I hope nothing like destroys us, or I don't know. This feels a little weird to me too. And she does look a little more shaken. She's not running ahead. She's not eagerly like touching the walls and checking things out. She looks a little nervous. But she says there's nowhere really to go but up. The whole point of this floor was a security checkpoint. So anything we need to learn should be upstairs.
Okay. I guess press on, but keep our ears open.
Okay. So, do you all head to the next set of stairs?
Well, yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna tense myself in like preparedness to fly off in some direction if a trap springs.
Okay, that's good. I would like everyone to roll. I would like everyone to roll a d20.
Which one's the 20?
Nope. Yes.
Oh man. It's under the 1 second.
Mine's a 15.
Okay.
Mine's under the desk. Well, behind the desk, and it's got a point. It landed in the carpet with a point facing up. That should be like a 25, right?
Doesn't count.
Give me that. Oh.
Did you both say you got 15?
Yes.
All right, hang on. Let me roll this in the not stupid direction. I got a 10.
Okay. You start walking across the floor immediately. I would say with two 15s there and a 10, that's pretty incredible. You start walking. First couple steps, nothing. Who's in front?
I think.
Wouldn't that be Seer and then
Probably
probably Karim?
Yeah.
Seer is going to purposely, because she's a little more hesitant, she'll walk slightly behind whoever's in the lead. So would that be Karim?
Yes.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay. Then what I'll say is, Karim, you're walking along, you go to put your foot down on one hexagon and you're just, something about it doesn't feel right, and you watch as you're about to put your foot down, you swear you see a spark, and you stop and you lift your foot up. Angel, at that point you see that there was a bit of a spark, nothing seems to be happening. Are you taking off. The floor, the ceiling here is probably about 12 feet tall. This is a very high ceiling. Or are you staying on the ground?
Yeah, I think once I spot that, I would immediately lift up,
Okay.
just instinctively. Be like, "Did you see that? What was that?"
Yeah. Seer kind of peers down a bit. She says, "I think you just narrowly avoided spraying a trap. As you as you lift up your foot, you put it back. You swear. You look around the room, and you realize that not every one of those red glyphs, but a lot of them are set in pairs. And looking again at the walls, you think there may be golems of various sizes built into the walls that for just a moment started to like bend forward a bit. But you look down, here's the issue. As well as you did with that, you can't tell what it is about that one hexagon square that makes it different from any of the others. So I'll say with scores that high, you're good ways there. You're probably about halfway without incident. Let's roll again just for one more time to see if you can make it to the stairs without setting anything else off.
Well, wait a minute. Seer, does that scroll say anything about this or no?
Nope. Just says that there are security implements in place. They're not really supposed to be going off. I think if Donathir was with us, we would probably be following him, and we'd know which ones to step on and not. But this doesn't. Surprisingly enough, I guess he didn't want to write down how to get out of the trap. So,
All right, hey there, Mr. GM.
yeah,
I have a manifest white question.
you have a manifest right question. I will also say, by the way, you don't need to roll a d20 because you're flying. So,
True.
but go ahead.
But, so, my manifest white capability says, utilize your white mana for an effect of your choice that ties to the concepts of protection, light, or healing.
Yes, that is correct.
Is there anything I could do using protection, light, or healing that would get us either get us across the floor or okay, I can't ask you a direct question like that. Could I somehow protect us from horrible booby traps?
So here's what I want you to do: is I want you to try to sell me on it a bit. Like, how would you? You're the angel. You just flew up. You can put together. Oh, he was gonna step on the bad thing, and the bad thing was gonna make these things come out. So,
okay, here we go.
Just a moment.
Could I somehow construct? You remember I made a wall before, a wall of light?
You did.
But it wasn't solid. It was just light. It was there for
correct
spooky purposes rather than protection. But could I make a protective barrier horizontally floating above the floor that we could just walk across and get to the stairs?
I love it.
Cool.
I love the way that you've justified that, and I would absolutely say that you could.
I feel like that wouldn't take more than, like, what, 2 white mana, maybe 3?
Here's what I'm going to say is because of the distance, we're going to say it's 3. So that will take you 3 white mana to do that.
All right.
So, technically, X and a white. So 2 white and 2 and a white, yes. To make an ethereal sort of protective bridge.
All right, everybody freeze. No, nobody touch anything. I'm going to try to get us a safe pathway across. So I will use what have I got here? Yeah, I'll just use 3 planes.
All right, you use 3 planes, and you go ahead and make that. I will say it takes about 5 minutes of concentrating, just because you are trying to be very deliberate with this. It's not you're not in a battle, so you can kind of take a moment
Yep.
compose your thoughts and do this exactly the way you want. You're kind of closing your eyes a bit, opening them just a bit at the end, and everyone else watches as almost this white mist starts to pour across the floor and then condense basically in a straight line to the glass case. And you're done, and it's solid, or it's not solid, but Kareem, if you set your foot up on it, looks good. If you
Okay, cool.
place your foot on the spot that was directly above the bad hexagon right in front of you, nothing happens. Your foot essentially hovers a good 4 inches off the ground.
Cool.
Nice.
Seer says, "That's impressive." She turns to Alaric and she says, "Can she do that all the time? Because that's something."
Occasionally. When the need arises.
I am good for more than just swinging big swords.
Seer says, "Apparently you are. That's very impressive." Now I will say that this effect will not last indefinitely, so you figure you probably got about 2 minutes or so. You can get over there in that span of time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
You walk across. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all right, everybody, let's go.
You walk across, Angel flying over, and as you get closer, you realize the glass case does appear to be smooth, but again oddly shaped. Seer takes the scroll, turns it so the other end is facing forward, puts it and turns it, and where she puts it, a small indentation appears in the glass. She withdraws the scroll, and the glass starts to condense a bit, and then it stops. And then a voice kind of reverberates around the room. "Where is Donathier?" Seer is kind of looking at you guys, and she looks back at the glass, and she's like, "Uh-oh." Like, and she starts to open the scroll again. And she's like, this isn't covered. I guess, this must be a final failsafe."
Hey, Kareem, you seem to be our spokesman.
Okay.
Why don't you talk to the weird disembodied voice?
"Are you a god?" No.
Yep.
We are concerned friends of Donathier. We are looking for him.
Two moments pass, and then the glass starts shifting rapidly, condensing it into itself. Starts to, at first you think, oh, it's opening up because it detaches itself from the stairs, but then you realize, wait, no, it's doing something else. You back up half a step, and in about the span of about 3 seconds, rapidly, it almost suddenly kind of crunches together, shatters at various points, and immediately takes the form of a giant man in front of you, and it's now a glass golem. So a glass golem stands in front of you. Kareem, you are the closest to it. What do? You have about a moment to act before it does anything else. It is large.
Does it appear to be like hostile?
Guess we're about to.
It
Find out.
is jagged and sharp, and I will say it is in the midst of taking a step toward you and is raising two fists in a sort of boxing position. It says, Donathier not detected.
Ah.
Eliminate intruders.
Oh, okay.
So, with that in mind,
Yeah, that's important.
I didn't make a script this time. So, Seer takes a step back, almost steps off the little white road, and corrects herself. So now you're all on this fairly narrow area. So,
Oh God.
Karim, I'll say you're within melee of this thing. It's large. It's probably about 2 feet taller than you are. What do you want to do?
So it's normal size. Ah, shorty.
It's 2 feet tall. It's at least a foot taller than the angel would be. How about that? So it's big.
All right. Okay. So now that I know this is definitely a fight, it's scimitar time, I think.
Okay. Is that your obsidian steel scimitar?
Yes.
All right.
It is a light weapon, so my light weapons, whatever, I think gives me +3. Yeah, light weapons 3, +3 power while attacking.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I do this?
All right. So you're gonna roll 2d8 and add 3.
Okay, got it. So
Oh,
that
and it glows in the presence of non-human creatures. Those creatures take an additional 2 damage on a successful hit from this weapon. So,
Hey.
all right. So for that's a total of 8.
all right, 8. It does hit, and it's going to deal damage. It's going to deal an additional 2 damage. You swing away, and I will say one of its fists just shatters to the ground. It is, we'll say the one on your left, its right fist is now shattered. It apparently is still moving on you undeterred, as it is a construct. Are you backing up slightly while staying on the little white road, so to speak? You're standing your ground?
Yep, I'll stand here.
Okay. All right. Seer is just kind of observing. She starts muttering something under her breath. You can't tell if she's doing anything at the moment. Who would be next then? Alaric or the angel? Are you taking up the rear, or who's in the rear?
I get the feeling I was in the back because I let everyone walk across my little bridge.
All right. Alaric, you watch as this thing condenses itself, starts to raise its fists. Very quickly, Karim swings his scimitar, deals a good chunk of damage to it, is still pressing. There's probably a good maybe 4 or 5 feet at least. You guys are fairly close to each other. So, but there's at least 2 people between it and you. What do you want to do? And if you step to the side, you risk stepping off of the safe zone. So, go ahead.
And you said the ice or the glass golem is large, correct?
It's large, yes.
Okay. It's standing over Karim?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot it with my bow.
You've got a pretty good sight on it, yes. So, all right. What kind of ammunition are you using?
Iron.
Iron arrow. Okay. All right. So roll a d12.
That is an 8.
That is an 8 as well. You knock off the other hand, the other arm, and it's now basically a torso. Still bearing down on you guys, as it seems to be only programmed to try to eliminate threats. But Karim on the one knocks off the one arm. Alaric shoots off the other. It's bearing down, but it seems to.
What's behind this thing?
The stairs.
All right.
What are you gonna do, Angel?
What I'm gonna do is after both arms or hands or whichever are knocked off, I'm gonna pull out my my Ethereum longsword,
Nice.
and I'm gonna fly forward over them and try to take a whack at its head.
Okay. All
While
right,
of course,
go
Take
ahead.
out his leg, so that way it'll be a draw.
no, we don't want it to tumble over and activate any other traps.
Good point.
I will say that you saw both arms fall and crack and hit the ground and off of the safe zone, and so far nothing has been activated. So, but all right, so you fly over the others. Again, it's a 12-foot ceiling, so
Yeah.
you're over everybody, especially Karim, since I guess canonically he's short. Is that what we're saying?
Well, he got
So-
shrunk a little bit once, and so I made a note to always call him Shorty after that.
That's right. Okay, man, we've been playing this game a long time, so you have to bear with me.
But yeah, my plan
you
is
fly
to
over-
fly forward, take a swing with my sword, and then land on the stairs behind it.
Nice. So kind of doing the like action movie, like you swing without even looking, and then it'll fall off while you're still staring forward or whatever.
Oh yeah, the anime thing.
Yeah. And maybe explode. Oh, that's the Power Rangers thing. They slice through, they run through, slice through, and then explodes, and the mech is like, I don't even need to see it. So, all right, roll a d12.
D12.
And this is a heavy weapon. Do you have any
Heavy
sort
weapon
of bonus for? Then you add 3 to that.
All right, I've got. Is that a? No, that's a 6. Plus 3 is 9.
Is 9. You fly over and you do the anime thing, and the head is off, and it takes one more step toward Karim, and then apparently having lost enough of its bodily integrity, Karim, it kind of like slowly stops and then slumps down against you, and it falls to its knees, and it's just kind of standing on its knees in front of you, but you see now closer together that there was this little kind of electrical looking weave running through the body, connecting everything, and it's sparking, and seems to be dead. So there's now a glass statue, headless, armless, on its knees in front of you.
Okay. Looks like we handled that.
Seer says, impressive. Can we get rid of it without activating the traps? And as she says this, you do notice that time is just about run out on your protective spell.
Yeah, I was just thinking I should be like, we should get over on the stairs now.
Okay, so Seer joins you on the stairs. Says, "Let's go." You look up, and this time you do not see a door. It just looks like the stairs just go up to the next floor, and you do see up ahead, a little brighter this time, a glow of almost, you think at first maybe purplish energy up ahead. But you guys follow up. Karim and Alaric, you guys jump on the stairs as well before the spell ends?
Yes.
Okay. Both of you go up. You start climbing up the stairs. As you do, Alaric, if you're now back in the back, after you've made up about 4 or 5 stairs, you hear crash as the statue hits the ground, crumbles, and the red light all of a sudden pulses throughout the room as you hear grinding sounds starting to fill the chamber. But if you keep going up, you eventually find yourselves up on the 3rd floor. The sound of the things beneath you fades very quickly, and you get the sense of you've taken a couple stairs, but in here time and space seem to be a little wonky, and all of a sudden the sounds and lights from downstairs look like they're very far away. Similar chamber when you come up to the top. No door. You just walk right up. pillar in the middle, yet a little further across, maybe about by 5 feet or so. It's definitely getting bigger, and now you can't really see the other side from your position. The walls in here are another metallic substance. They appear to be smooth, unlike the walls downstairs, that no golems or anything like that. Another series of glyphs going all the way around the room, but what appeared to be purple is actually a very intense black. And it actually stands out against the darkness of the chamber, which there's something here that is keeping it at least a bare minimum of light going so that you can actually see the glyphs. Here, you see furniture for the first time. You see little stools covered with a velvet top, clearly meant for sitting. You see in one corner a very, very nice recliner chair, and the glyphs along the walls are, while they're pulsing with this black energy, these those of you that have experience with magic, which all of you do to a certain extent,
Yeah.
Seems to be more about just, it's almost like a title, like ecology, biology. Seer says, I think we may have found the first key that we're looking for. She goes over. The floor is smooth. You don't see anything. She seems to almost walk a bit hesitantly, but she says, I've never been up here. I've never been allowed to be up here. I think all the security was downstairs. I don't think he thought anybody was going to get this far, and he worked up here. You don't want to be dodging traps while you're, working. She touches one of the glyphs, and her eyes seem to light up. And you don't see anything. The glyph seems to dim as she's holding her hand to it. And for a minute or so, if you'll just leave her alone, she just seems entranced by what she's seeing. What do you guys want to do? You don't immediately feel threatened.
Are there any other visible changes to the room around us while Sierra's doing this?
While she is doing it, every other glyph seems to dim just a little bit as well. So almost like when one is being touched, everything else seems to dim just a bit. But otherwise, no visible changes. If you look at her, you swear you see something like dancing across her eyes, but you can't really follow it.
What do you guys think?
Well, she touched a glyph and she didn't die, so
That is a good sign.
Does this? Sorry, I can't remember what you said earlier. Does this room, the size of the inside of this room, does it feel like a little more open like the first floor, or a little tighter like the second floor?
It's starting to get tighter because the circumference of the room itself has not changed, but the center pillar, as far as what you can tell, because it goes from the bottom to the top, is getting wider. So it's feeling a little tighter. It's feeling a little more constrained. I will say, as you look around, all of the glyphs so far have been on the outside walls, not on the pillar itself. You do see little notches and little indentations in the central pillar. Do you want to follow them around?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a d20. What are your? Let's see. Okay, you have cooking. Okay. Um, I'm just looking at your skills. Um, Go ahead and just roll a d20 for me.
Okay.
Wait, all of us or just Kareem?
Just Kareem, unless anyone else is trying to study the markings on the central pillar.
I mean, there's
I
nothing
will
else to
also
do.
do it.
Yeah.
You'll also do it?
Mhm.
Okay. Then everybody roll a d20 to just see if you can't discern any sort of pattern.
Nope. Okay.
No,
Okay.
Hang on.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. That's not good.
Mine rolled back behind my. It's not an iPad. My tablet. It is a 16.
That is better. We need to get you a box or something to roll your
Yeah, I
dice
used to
in
have
that it's
something here.
not.
I don't know where the hell. Oh, I
And
can just
Mike,
move the tablet
14.
over. Aha.
14. Okay. I will say then that you all kind of realize maybe Kareem is like, hey, there might be something here. And you take your time and you kind of wander around. You kind of start where across from where Seer is kind of staring into space. And you're like, these look like they might be a pattern. And you follow your way around. And Alaric, you're kind of just, you're not getting it. But you're like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And you're following the others and the others with what do you say, a 16 and a
14.
And a 14.
14. I'm gonna say it's gonna take you a while. You're studying, and you're like every now and then you think you see something, and it looks like it's a language, but you're not sure of what. Angel, this you've always had this blank spot, and even in your mind, and when you found the letter that apparently you think you wrote or was in your handwriting, you've never completely got it. It's not even that you're trying to remember something that you can't remember. It's like there's nothing there. For the first time in forever, this is bothering you. Like there's this almost itch at the back of your head. And you think there I should be able to read this.
Like
I
a
really
vague
should
sort
be
of
able to read this.
familiarity.
Exactly. And you're thinking this is something I should be able to get and it's so close and then you almost find like you're starting to talk to Kareem and you're like, I think this word means this. And Kareem, you're like, I don't even know where she's getting that from. Like, how is she's jumping to a conclusion that at first doesn't even seem to make sense. But how does she even know that's what it means? It takes you a good 20 minutes going around. And finally, you think maybe you've got it. And all I'll say, Angel, is that by the end of it, you realize this was not Donathier. This is someone else basically recording. It's been so many days since we've tried to introduce this creature to this environment. It did not do well. It's a little bit like research notes. Without the context of exactly what it's talking about, and a lot of it is essentially what would be shorthand, where it really makes sense to the person writing it, you don't know the full meaning of what it is, but you get a sense that somehow either you did this or someone that spoke this language. Kareem, you begin to get the cadence of it, but it's like you might get the cadence of French, but unless you know what those and you hear the rhythm of it, but unless you know what those words mean, you don't know what it actually means. Does that make sense? You get that there's a pattern, but you don't know what it means. Alaric, you're like, uh-huh, uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
just see that there are shiny things on the wall.
Well, these are not shiny. That's the thing is all the glyphs are on the outside wall. These are just markings. And at first you thought they're just scratches, but apparently it's notes that someone made with a sharp instrument, but they're orderly, they're neat, they're in a language you don't understand, but they're entirely too regular. It's not like the guy in his jail cell that like takes the pick and he's like, it's been day 27, I haven't seen anyone. This is appears organized, but you really have to know where to look for it. Probably takes you about at least, like I said, 20 to 25 minutes. You work your way back around to to where you started. Uh,
Hmm.
Alaric, being the one that is the least involved, is the first one to notice that Seer is gone.
Seer's gone, guys.
What do you mean gone? What?
Do you see Seer?
You don't see Seer.
Thank you, Mr. G.
Well, you're welcome, but I just, you know.
All right. What are our exits here? Are they like Northwest and Dennis?
So I will say that while the stairs have not, because they wind around, they are not always from the same cardinal location. Like the first ones that you went up from the first floor would have been at the north. The to go from the second floor to this floor would have been, I'm looking at my map here, roughly like southwest. But there's generally the set of stairs. There's almost always across from the other one.
Mm-hmm.
This time you go around, and at first you don't even see it, but there is a more narrow staircase kind of leading up. Whereas the other staircases have been just that. This is more like, you know, those floor plans where the stairs are kind of almost built into the side of a wall and they're open, like it's just like planks of wood almost that go up. This is more like that, and they just kind of ascend that way, roughly across from where you came up. You glance up, and this one seems to go up a long ways, and you realize it's a bit of a spiral. You also realize, you know, not having flown, this ceiling is higher than the last one. It's probably a good 25 feet tall.
So surely she didn't go back down where the bad things were. So I would assume while we were over here fooling around trying to figure this out, she wandered on upwards?
I guess so. That's what makes sense.
You can see a bit of the smudges. Again, it's kind of a little dusty in here. You can tell people haven't come in. But you can see the smudges where she touched the glyph before. It does not appear that there are any other smudges. It looks like she just touched the wall in the one place.
All right, I'm gonna reach out with a spiritual awareness again to see if I can sense her.
Okay. Roll a d10.
Yep. 3.
3. Not in your immediate vicinity, although I will say you're with a 3, that's pretty rough, but you do sense what feels like it might be her up. There's a trace sense of something moving beneath you on the floor beneath you, which you can gather that's whatever was activated before. And it does seem like where she touched the wall, there's some sort of dark energy coming from there. It doesn't appear to be malevolent, but it is black mana in nature.
All right, I will relay this to the party and be like, did she go up or did she get got?
We would have heard a commotion. We would have noticed something.
Would we?
She must have just. Yes.
Okay.
Look at us.
I mean,
go up and look for her.
The two of us were pretty
You
deep
don't-
into the deciphering. Alaric, did you notice any sort of anything?
No, I didn't hear, didn't see anything. Just all of a sudden, she was gone.
You see no evidence of bodily remains or anything on the floor or anything like that. You do see the imprint of almost a shadowy imprint on the wall of the glyph where she touched her hand to it. And now that she's not touching it, the glyphs on all the walls have kind of gotten a little brighter like they were before. You got the sense they only dimmed while she was touching it and reading or discerning some sort of receiving something through the glyph.
So either she's wandering or something got in her head?
Or the glyphs are a means of teleportation.
That could be, but I feel like that would be a different feel of magic than what I'm feeling. If that makes any sense. I guess, should we like go to the stairs and like call her name and see what happens? For some reason, I feel the urge to be quiet in here.
You do. It's almost like being in a library. You realize you've been kind of shushed the whole time, and you think maybe it started when you and Karim were talking, like passing notes about the inscriptions before. Just like, oh, look at that! Do you see that? And you realize this whole time you have not been talking above a whisper.
So I'll go.
Not with your spiritual awareness, you do not feel anything on this floor malevolent or with an ill intent toward you.
So I'll lean over towards the stairs, going up, and go, Seer, you up there?
A moment passes.
Let's just go.
Oh,
Nothing's stopping us.
She says, "Oh, yeah, I finished reading the log. Have you read it yet?"
Would you please not just wander off in the mythical tower of what's this place called again?
Noatune.
Noatune?
Yeah.
At least without telling us first, we were afraid you got.
She calls down, sorry, but there's really no danger here anymore. This is, again, this was his workshop. You should really come up here and see this after you, I guess you don't have to read the wall if you don't want to, but it's kind of the notes he left behind. I think I'm getting a sense of what happened to him.
Oh.
Well, we can't read it, so you're just going to have to explain it to us. We're coming up.
All you have to do is touch the wall. What?
Okay, fine.
What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
Oh. All
What's
right.
that?
Over. I
You
said,
touch the
okay,
wall.
fine, I'll touch the wall. Oh, my God. I'll go over and touch the wall.
Didn't want to touch the wall.
I'm not touching the
Jeez,
wall.
Karim, you touch the wall
Yes.
and you die. No.
A dragon eats you.
No. You touch the wall, and the glyphs kind of. The other two notice the glyphs also dim. Karim, for 1 minute, you're like, there's not a minute. For like a second, you're like, nothing's happened. And then all of a sudden, there's this almost voice in your head that says, "Welcome to Noatune. What would you like to know? Are you here to check the log?"
There's some Starship Troopers nuts.
Yes.
A little bit. Would you like to know more? Do you say yes?
Yes.
What follows is less an exact word for word replay and more you get the sense that this was almost a way of recording thoughts and emotions versus a specific thing. It's interesting. It's almost because it's less of a spoken language and more emotions, it's kind of multilingual. And all of a sudden, in the space of, I'll say, a couple minutes, the rest of you kind of watch, and he's staring off into space. You see occasional flickers in his eyes. He doesn't appear to be hurt. I guess if you want to try to interrupt the process, we can talk about that. But you have emotion and thoughts and information flooding into your mind. And you gather that this was a plane before Donathier came, but it was a barren plane. He came here as a pre-mending planeswalker, saw this as an opportunity to create a habitat, a preserve for creatures throughout the multiverse that were not appreciated or were facing extinction. I think it was said earlier in the campaign he was not like a simic, like, oh, let's smash a frog and a shark together.
Mhm.
It was more about like making sure there was a place for everything. So he used his vast, almost godlike powers to create the various environments and imbued them with a power that, if you recall, there was a tree that got cut down, it regrew overnight so that it would be self-sustaining. Because he also wanted there to be sentient creatures, he made it so that passage between some of these areas would be difficult, so the environments were more self contained, and only someone like his associates with the Vanna that had the enchanted map would be able to wander freely. You're getting all this information what feels like very rapidly. You're seeing him go to different planes and be like, oh, this would be great. This is a rare bird. Blah, 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 blah. Getting to know other planeswalkers, never meeting Urza, but seeing some others that you may have heard of in the textbooks, and getting some cooperation from them. Sarah helped a little bit, and some of the others, and then you see him meeting some of the people you've met, including the man that turned himself into a vampire, Gondor. You saw Icolnir, the magma dragon that had to take over the Noggle to basically not burn the whole place down, and their collaborative efforts together. And then you see the angel for like a second, and then that memory cuts off immediately, almost like it was erased. And then one of the last things you see is a what apparently looks like a very young teenager-ish seer starting to help her master, but she's kind of bound to this plane. She's not a planeswalker like he is. And then it says something about more information to come, and then it cuts off. Alaric and the angel, he's been doing this for like 5 minutes. But Karim, it feels like you just got like a 2-hour lecture.
Mm-hmm.
Literal info dump.
Okay, well, it's actually pretty informative. I recommend checking it out if you want to, but I'm gonna go upstairs.
I should say one other thing. Um,
Oh,
you
God.
kind of got a sense of the plane and the various facilities that he had in more biomechanical terms, and the way that those systems kind of help each other. You gather that Drizil, the giant tree at the heart of it, is kind of like a nerve center, and you gather that the Donathier, would go there on a fairly regular basis, maybe once every 10 to 20 years or so, and pour some of his living essence and his spark into the plane to basically keep it going.
Okay.
Which is why the roots are like supercharged. Somebody touched one earlier and went wonky. So, but you said you tell them what that was interesting, and you're going upstairs.
Yes.
Okay. What are Alaric and the angel doing?
I'm gonna go with him.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. All right. You guys proceed to go up the stairs. As we said, these are the space is getting a little more confined. You're heading up, and as you go up, you start to see it looks brighter and brighter and brighter upstairs until you get up and you realize these walls are, at first you think they're darker, and then you realize no, it's still the same sort of material, but the glyphs in here are all pulsing with white mana energy and seem to be calming, soothing a bit, more of a respite from some of the harshness of the chamber below. And here you see more, whereas you saw some furniture downstairs for relaxing and maybe studying, up here you see in one corner, I say corner, on one side because it's a circle, a very generous bed sort of setup, four-poster, a chest of drawers, an actual chest, um, and some various like closet, sort of freestanding closet spaces. So this area makes you feel nice and warm and like, and you gather this was an actual living space.
All right.
The pillar is large, and now you probably only have about less than 10 feet, um, 10 feet to walk in before the pillar starts. The pillar is taking up most of this room. The bed area, the bed is situated in such a way that it doesn't appear as constrained. And over the bed or on the side, you see the only window that you've seen in this entire area. And if you get closer and you look out, you see one of the many photohydras that are growing on the walls outside, kind of almost peering at you.
Ah.
Feed me, Seymour.
Gotta love a good
And
fight a Hydra.
It's impossible to really see around this space because the pillar, you can barely make out the bed until you head in that direction. But if you keep walking around, you do eventually see a staircase going up. And this time, it is directly up against the pillar. It's basically taking up that side of the room. And Seer calls down, "Do I hear you moving around down there? There was nothing really on that floor."
All right. I'm gonna guess
Unless
that
you
upstairs.
need to take a nap. What's that?
I mean, I could always take a nap, but I'm gonna guess upstairs is the green room.
Probably.
So I don't really feel like rifling through Donathir's sock drawer, so I guess we should go upstairs.
Yeah, let's find out if he's alive first before we start going through his clothes.
You head up the stairs, and this time, up at the top, at the ceiling, there is another door, and it's built into the ceiling. This time, unlike on the first floor where it was invisible, you can see it. It's there, it's closed.
I will open it.
You will try to open it. It appears to either be locked or very stuck.
All right, knock, knock, knock.
Seer calls down, "Yes? What's up?"
Hey, open up. I can't get this door open.
Can't get the... Hold on. You hear some fumbling and some rattling on the other side. She says, "Huh. I don't know if just one person can open at a time. Hold on 1 second." You hear she's chanting something. Alaric, you would be familiar with the incantations of a naturalized spell to try to remove an enchantment. But then you hear the door knob rattle again. She's, "No good. Maybe just try forcing it open."
Okay.
Roll a d20, Karim, if you're trying to force the door open.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me. You guys remember that I learned break open?
You did learn break open. Break a non-indestructible object without a physical feat check.
So
Okay.
For 1 and a red.
Yeah, so I'll call up Samantha and just sort of
So you call up Samantha, and for a minute it still seems to resist, and then boom. And here's the thing, you can tell that the door was supposed to open downward, but from the concussive force of your blast, it swings upward, splitting in the middle, and up there you see a very stunned seer just going, "Whoa." Okay. She's like swatting some of the air out of her face.
Sorry about that. That had a little more kick
Nope.
than I anticipated.
No apologies necessary. Come on up. You walk up the stairs, you go through the busted doorway. You take a look around. This is a very tight space. The green glyphs are all around the room. And the pillar takes up the vast majority of the room. You've only got about, like I said, 5 feet or so to walk. And you see that if you start walking forward, behind you is just the stairs. There's no way to really turn around and walk in that direction without going down the stairs. When you get about a quarter of the way around the room, there is a door into the pillar. The glyphs continue along the outside, and what you see the glyphs represent, each one is the name of a creature, and some of them you recognize: Bird of Paradise, Allosaurus, things like that. And if you touch any one, you get an immediate sense of how many of that type of creature were brought to the plane, around what time, like 200 years ago, and how many are still showing as living on the plane right now. And there's a bunch. Seer walks over and kind of glances, and she says, "You notice that there's some here that are a little different. And as you look, you do see that there are some that are almost in brackets, so to speak." She says, "These were some that were taken here that, unfortunately, Donathier felt were too dangerous to be kept out in the wild. So I think they're kept in stasis somewhere else."
Huh.
You go looking, and you try to find one of the ones she's talking about, and you see one there, and it's named Hypnox.
Ah.
And none of you know what that means, but you gather it's not good.
I know what that means.
You know what that means. The angel doesn't know what that means. But you gather some of these have been, and she kind of explains, some were just, we're going to upset the whole apple cart, I'm afraid. So
Okay.
she turns to you. She says, "I really actually want to thank the 3 of you so much. I never would have gotten this far without you. Donathier basically raised me, and I think I know what happened to him now."
Oh?
Yeah, I don't think he's with us anymore. You know, you're not the first planeswalkers to visit here, and I've talked to some of them from time to time. And I guess there was something a couple decades ago called the Mending. Are any of you familiar with that phrase?
Are we familiar with that phrase?
Are we?
I would think Wizards has said that planeswalkers live longer than normal people just as a whole, because they don't want to lose their name brand characters. So if you've had any experience as a planeswalker and you've met others, you would know what that term means, even if you don't know the specifics. You would have a sense of, planeswalkers used to be almost omnipotent, and then the Mending happened, and now all you know are what you can do now. Angel, you're the only one that was pre-Mending, and you don't remember what that was like. So,
True.
but you would have some sense of, it's like when, okay, I was gonna say something bad. It's like when someone says, "Oh, this event in human history," like, I keep coming up with battle names like the Battle of Gettysburg, but something happened like the Great Depression. you don't need to know the specifics to know, oh, that was this thing. So you know of the mending.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This, from what I've gathered in various accounts, this would have been about the time that he disappeared.
Oh.
She looks at you. What are you thinking?
Well, if he lost like a significant percentage of his, power and ability when the mending happened, like he wouldn't have the power and ability to keep this place up and running as he was.
Right.
She touches her spectacles on her face and she said, I think you're really onto something. The last clue, I think, the last thing we need to know is at Drazil.
Yeah, I was just thinking if he was pouring parts of his life essence and spark into the tree, then that should be where we go.
Happened. Yeah. And she said, on that note, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but I've gone ahead. And her image starts to fade. She says, I've left this behind so we could talk, but I really couldn't wait for you. She gestures toward the door into the pillar. She says, if you go through there, that's where I've gone, and that's the only safe way to get to Drazil. There's a passage that goes from this tower under the roots, and that can take us where we need to go to finish this. I'll see you up ahead. And she kind of gives a wave as the image dissipates.
Did you guys know that wasn't actually her?
No clue.
All right, I don't feel so dumb then.
I will say there were probably one or two times where you may have, especially on the little white bridge, I'm not sure what else to call that you would have interacted with her. You gather that she then, after she had the download, after about 5 minutes, she still would have had about a 15-minute lead on you heading up. So you were interacting with her physically before. She needed you to get into the tower, but this was just an illusion at the end.
Yeah, while we were deciphering things, she had wandered off.
Yeah, basically. But you have the door in front of you, or you can leave and hike there over land if you'd like. If you don't want to go through the weird door in the tower where everything's bigger on the inside, but you have had difficulty once you get to the roots. Things get all wonky because of the amount of mana. So, what do you want to do now?
Yeah, I'm willing to trust what's going on and open the door. There were plenty of other opportunities here for her to double cross us if that's what she was planning.
Yeah, if she was going to be up to shenanigans, then she had ample opportunity to do something awful. So wait, I've pulled up the map on the on the screen here. This is going to be a long ass tunnel, or it's going to be a magical ass tunnel.
Well,
do we have a map?
We're in a magical warped space tower, so
you have a map. You have a map that this is what this represents, because this is what you got from the clan that goes around on foot.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The Vanna, yeah.
Yeah, so
not everything is completely to scale, but you do get the sense from where you started and where you are that it is a long way away. Only one way to find out.
I mean, Yeah, I'm good to go. I guess if you guys are, is there anything else we need to do here? Wait, what color were the glyphs up on this last floor?
Green,
Okay.
and they corresponded with the various creatures.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
through this door is either going to teleport us directly or be a shortcut, or it'll lead to the minecart level for adventure here.
Oh yeah. In Indianapolis, Karim, and the Temple of Derpness. All right. Shall we go through the mystery door into the center of the tower?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Should we do something stupid like hold hands or anything? No, let's not do that.
No.
You open the door, and you just see what appears to be a long black pit going way further down than you think it should.
Can
Oh.
I see in the darkness?
That's always
You
good.
can see pretty well in the darkness. The issue is that it's not a matter of just that it is dark, although it is dark and you are the best at seeing that. It's that it's a long way. I do mean like a long way. But you do hear something on the wind. And
there's
it's weird
wind?
because there's wind. You feel that there's air moving in here.
All right. I'm gonna. Is there anything in the room that I could have picked up, like to drop down the hole to listen for a thunk?
It's pretty clean, but I'll say sure, you do find a little stone that somehow got left there.
All right. I'm gonna pick it up.
I call it the stone of convenience.
The Stone of Convenience, and I'm just gonna
Yes.
drop it and listen real
You
carefully.
drop it. So you drop it, and you're like, "Oh, is it going to make a sound?" And then it makes a sound much earlier than you'd expect. Kareem with the best vision in the dark. Gee, there should be a name for that. You can actually see that the stone hits something and appears to be heading back up. And you're like, "What?" And eventually all of you can see that there's some sort of raised platform, and it's coming up to meet you, and it stops basically at level. Now, it is not the entire circumference of the floor. There is a good 6 inches or so gap on every side, and as you watch it, you see it's flat on bottom. It's probably about a good 2 feet thick, but you're not sure what's holding it up, except for maybe just magic.
Yeah, it's obviously
And you
magic.
do, it's obviously magic, and you do see at the far end, there's just about enough for the three of you to be comfortably in it. That there is a glyph on the floor, and you don't need to be an expert to realize it means push.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hop on.
So the three of you get in.
I've heard of these things on the more mechanized planes. I think they're called an
Elevator.
A levitor.
a levitor. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at least New Capenna would have these, along with
Yeah.
like Kamigawa now. I mean, geez, you can get a motorcycle in Kamigawa. But you step in. At first, you step on the glyph and nothing happens, and then it takes a second. It flashes red for a second, and then the door behind you closes, and you begin to descend.
Please tell
And
me
you
it
have-
goes ding.
It goes ding just for you.
Yay!
Now it's interesting. You remember that as you were going up the tower, the pillar went from being very narrow to very wide. But as you're starting to go down, you feel this shimmer over you. And almost for a second you almost feel like you're being squished, and then no, you're being stretched, and then you're like shrinking and getting taller at the same time. And each of you look at each other, and the angel suddenly looks like she's 10 feet tall, but only like 1 inch wide. And you're like, oh God, it's like that scene in Inside Out where they're going 2D. Please tell me you've all seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't
All
seen
right,
Inside
good.
Out, but I know the
yet.
scene you're talking about.
Okay, and you're like, this is really strange, and you're starting to feel uncomfortable, and yet you take a second to breathe, and you realize your lungs are okay, you're okay, you're not sure what's happening, and then it's almost like you feel like you're being squeezed through the middle part of an hourglass, and then all of a sudden the space around you starts to open up again, and you're like, magic. But you're descending, and you're descending, and it's probably a good 7 minutes, and you're constantly going down until finally the chamber opens up a bit till it's roughly the same shape as it was when you got on, except you're heading down, and you come down, there's another door in front of you, and just for the angel, a little ding as the door opens in front of you.
Excellent.
You step out, and what you see is you're in a cavern. You're not
Okay,
sure
wait a
how
minute.
far down beneath
Before
the
we
surface.
step out and look around,
Yeah,
I have to look at these two and go, I'm not doing that again.
it was uncomfortable. It was definitely very uncomfortable. So,
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Alaric, you don't feel right.
Alaric also don't look right, but that's just being mean.
But once you've taken stock, you do step out, and the doors close behind you. You are in a long cavern. You cannot even begin to see the end. It's probably about 20 feet tall, 15 feet from side to side, and what appears to be a small just river. And when I say small, I mean like essentially a foot wide, just going down the middle, and it sounds like the water is flowing kind of away from you, and you're not sure where the water is coming from or where it's going. But it has the sound of moving water. You look to your right, you look to your left. You don't see anything immediately, but probably about almost at the edge of your vision, Kareem, maybe a good 70 feet out. Just you can kind of
Mm-hmm.
make out. You think you see a large door to the left.
Okay.
You start walking down the cavern.
Yeah, that's probably our way out.
Okay. As you get closer, you see the door on your left is large. It's essentially the entire height, 20-foot height of the passage. And there are bars across the front of it. And next to it, you see a plate with the word Hypnox. And then there is a small lever beneath the plate. Do you pull the lever?
I do not.
No.
Hey, wait a minute. Hypnox. Wasn't that one of the things in the room that were in the tower that were too scary or too dangerous?
Yeah, it was.
Also, if this is barred from this side, I doubt Seer went this way. I'm just saying.
Well, the tunnel continues a long way. This is just a room on the left.
Okay. Got it.
This is not the only way to go forward. I mean, you can enter if you want. There's a lever. But so again, there's a long tunnel in front of you that keeps going. And as you're going down, this room on the left is there with doors and bars and a nameplate and a lever. You can do that, or you can keep going down the interminable length in front of you.
Yeah, I don't think we should pull any levers for doors like this. This seems like asking for trouble. Like, those things that were too dangerous to be left out in general population, I think we might have found where they were stashed.
You hear something behind the door. Originally, this space was very quiet except for running water. As you've been talking, you hear thud, thud behind the door, and a small scratching sound. Not like scratch, like, but one long kind of continuous, almost finger on chalkboard sort of sound.
All right, I think we should probably keep moving there, guys.
Let's keep moving.
You keep moving.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with anything that's going on in this general vicinity.
You continue walking, and before long, there's another door, this time on the right, a little smaller than that one, and this one is marked P. Negator. Do you open that door?
No.
Is it also barred?
This one is barred, but for some reason, the bars are forming a complex lattice work and are completely and utterly smooth with no sharp edges whatsoever. The door is round, almost like not just round like at the edges, but I mean like a hobbit door kind of round. And at your first glance, you're like, that's weird. But there's something about the symmetry of this that is just unsettling. And you realize that these spaces, these doors, were made specifically for the effort of whatever is inside. But to answer your question, there's a door and there is a complex bar system. There's once again a lever. And you gather that at some point, Donathy or whoever constructed this allowed for the possibility that these things may need to be not in there. So I'm not trying to make you do something you don't want to do, but I am here if you want to investigate further.
Yeah, no, I think we should just keep on going.
Yeah, find our main objective.
Yeah, we don't have time to be getting caught up in side quests.
Okay. You continue going, and there's no doors for a long time. You're walking, you realize this goes on and on and on. Although it's strange, when you walk, especially if you walk closer to that water, which just is continuing going down, something is happening where you feel like you're almost kind of propelled along a little faster. You're not getting winded as quickly, and you get the sense that there's something about this that allows for this transportation faster than usual. You get to another door. This one is on the left.
As we walk up to it, I turn to Karim and Alaric and go, what do you think the P stood for?
I don't think any of you guys would have, unless from your backstory, you think you would have had any interaction with the denizens of Phyrexia, or New Phyrexia, or, Phyrexia Light, or Phyrexia Plus, Ultra, Tournament
edition.
Yeah. Ooh, you can play play as Shang Tsung in that one.
Oh yeah. I probably not. I don't know. I mean, Oh, I have, but apparently I don't remember that, so never mind.
From your backstory, yeah. But I don't know about you. I don't know about you other guys. I will say this next door, Alaric. This immediately gets the hairs on the back of your neck up. This door is a single door. There are no bars. The door is entirely silver, and you're familiar with silver from where you've been. And you see in a triangle on the top, left, and right the symbols of the Church of Avacyn. And as you get closer, you hear a sniffing, a wet, sort of phlegmy sniffing, and then a panting. And you look at the plate, and it says Alpha Wolf, First of Innistrad. And then there's a very, very low growl.
I tell the guys, let's not open this door.
What do you mean?
There is very likely a werewolf behind that door.
Remind you of home?
Yes. Let's not go through door number whatever this one is.
This is the third one you found so far.
Let's not go through door number 3.
As you listen, you hear, you know the sound a dog makes when it's trying to like dig under a door? Kind of like that. But it's just fangs on metal. And there's a moment where you think maybe he or she impacted the door itself, because there's a small hiss and a very, very loud howl of pain that breaks off into just a normal wolf howl. And Alaric, you feel the blood drain from your face.
Mm-hmm.
And as it is 10:15, why don't we leave with this wonderful image seared in everyone's brain, and we'll pick up on this adventure next time. Hopefully, sometime early in 2024.
Hopefully.
I've got notes for pretty much a lot going forward, but I wanted you guys to be able to take your time in the tower and explore. You definitely did not fight the tons of, what were these? The tons of clay golems that I had ready to go on the second floor, because 2 15s, I think. Yeah, that you actually did a really good job. Between that and I was gonna have you roll again, and Chewy's excellent use of his manifest white. I'm just like, yeah. The glass golem was always gonna be in the way, but I gotta say, good thinking, good rolling, and good thinking. I definitely always want to encourage the creative thought. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was a bit more of like a explaining stuff, a little bit of combat there just for once, but you took off the arms and the head, so good job. So yeah.
I feel like that encounter shows how well we work together as a team.
Yes.
Because big scary thing, knock one arm off, knock the other arm off, finish it off. Nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. and I feel like you guys definitely earned that, where it wasn't just like it did not have to go that way. You had some very good rolls, you had some very good timing with each other, so it was not at all a gimme that that was going to happen. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, and I was particularly proud of my mana. Have I the only one that's
Sure.
used their manifest color thing?
You've
So
used it
far.
twice, yeah.
Yeah, I've used it a couple. I remember I made the big wall of light to try to
Right.
make the attacking whatever they were stop.
The wolves, yeah.
Yeah,
You guys and wolves.
and I know I did the bread. I'm pretty sure I used it for something else at another point.
You may have, but I think you're the only one that's done that. Yeah.
Man, you guys need to get your stuff together, man.
Alaric has manifest green, and Karim has manifest something. Manifest red.
I was gonna say, I assume it would be either red or black.
Yeah. In addition to all of his other stuff. You're the only person that casts spells today, so
Aha.
But we'll pick this up next time. Or not necessarily. I'm so used to saying that for the D&D group. We'll pick this up next time we do an RPG episode. But
Which will hopefully
before
not
too
be 40 episodes.
long. No.
Oh my god. All right then.
Aren't they
Well,
getting ready to do previews for a new set? I'm sure they are.
probably.
know.
I haven't even been paying attention. I think the Murders at Karlov Manor, they did a first look thing and showed some
Oh,
cards.
that's right. And they put out the first story, which honestly I kind of liked. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway. Well, then that was informative, and we got to have some fun doing stuff. How about we do some final thoughts and call it for 2023?
Sounds like a plan. Dirk, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? I'm not going to run off right away this time.
I'll do the final thoughts for myself.
Unless you take too long.
2023. I know whenever we get back, we'll talk about the ups and downs and everything. But yeah, so far I'm on break now and a little less stressed, and hopefully be able to give a good update on how everything is with the new year. But looking forward to Christmas. Looking forward to some time away. I actually was able to make it tonight just in time. I got in about an hour before the show started because I was actually at a swim meet. And I was at the Greensboro Aquatic Center for a swim meet. And our team did pretty well. And I feel like I learned a lot when it comes to swim. I've done wrestling in the past. Wrestling is my full experience. I wrestled for 4 years in high school. I was the assistant coach for 2.5 years, and so that one I know very well. Swim, I'm aware that there are different types of swim types, like the breaststroke, but that was about it. And this year, helping out with the swim team, I feel like I've learned a lot. By no means do I feel like I would be able to solo coach it, but I feel like that if questions were asked of my opinion on things, I feel like I could actually help out and not just sit there and go, you, and just randomly pick people. I feel like I can actually like pay attention to people and go, okay, I think you'd be good for this style, as we continue to go through. So I'm enjoying learning a new sport. And that
Nice.
rounds out my final thoughts for 2023.
The only thing I know about swimming is don't drown.
Well, there's that.
I never actually learned how to swim, but I'm pretty sure I can not drown for a good long while. Yeah. And for some reason, that bad joke shut everybody up, just all the way.
Oh, sorry, something.
I didn't know if Dirk was done. I can go. Dirk, you sticking around?
I'll stick around to finish out the final thoughts.
Yeah.
Wow, we're all sticking around. Okay, so for my final thoughts, I guess it's been a heck of a year. I lost my aunt, unfortunately, earlier this year to cancer. I lost another friend of mine from church to a different kind of cancer. So cancer sucks. But honestly, while I don't want to say I'm past those, and I'm still missing them a lot. They were a big part of my life, both of them. Otherwise, I really have more to be thankful for than to be sad for. I really do. It's been an interesting year for me personally, for me at work. I've had some difficult stuff, but one foot after another. And one of the things I can say I'm thankful for, if I'm not being too mushy, is you guys. Is not just the people listening, but the people I do this with, where we've been doing this 16 years.
Good
and
Lord.
it may not always be like everything I want to do on a Thursday night, but there's some where I'm tired. There's some where maybe somebody else is tired, or maybe I've got a little work to do or whatever. But just having you guys to turn to and not only talk about Magic, because I still enjoy it. Thank goodness for Arena, or I would never play. Khans of Tarkir is out for draft, and I'm like, oh yeah, Mardu's really good, and I have like won a couple drafts, gone undefeated in a couple drafts just because, hey, yeah. But no, not to talk about Magic.
Sorry.
Well, Mardu lately apparently, and I forgot how good. But the not the Soul Tie, the big green red blue deck. They're just the big stompy guys. Teamer are awesome. But to talk about other stuff, to talk about other game stuff, talk about Final Fantasy, talk about I've now been doing D&D, which I didn't know if I'd ever do. I've been doing that for almost 3 years. So talk about all sorts of stuff with you guys. And I know that we're talking about more non-Magic stuff, and honestly, I'm okay with that because I think we've covered a lot of interesting stuff. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed listening. The RPG has always been a bit of a passion project for me, and if you like it, maybe we'll have more to talk about next year. No promises, because I had this thought at the end of last year, and gee, wow. But we'll see what we want to do with it going forward. So I'm being a bit rambly, but I am the ramble man and tangent master kind of guy. I'm just going to hang it up by saying that I hope for all of you that maybe are struggling, that you have someone to turn to, or something in your life that makes everything a little better from moment to moment. That's all I got. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the winter solstice. Happy solstice, everybody. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, and happy summer solstice, everybody. Like Infinius down there, time traveling in the weird hemisphere. Well, Mike said something happened here, BRB, and hopefully, like, there are no like grooves in his house, because I don't want Mike to get eaten. But hey, that means I'll do the Patreon thing. So as always, we appreciate your support here at the Mana Pool. Patreon.com/themanapool, more specifically. And let me go thank our mythic lifeguards: Al, Kimho, Scuzzo, John Parker, Jake Jansons, Michael. Who the hell is Michael? Tim Hillis Haryu, Jason Kaus, Casey, Jason Doan, ALK Alters, and Andrew Odie. Yay. I've been working steadily. Not like the last couple weeks, because I've been doing a whole lot of dashing. But I've been working steadily on the Lord of the Rings project. Actually, I don't think I've touched it since the last episode we recorded, but still, I've got that in the works. I've got the charity. Oh! I think we're gonna do. I say we. I think I'm gonna do the Chivos for Charity stream closer to like. I was thinking like the end of January, beginning of February, but I think in order to give people time to recover from Christmas and get, tax returns and whatnot, I'm going to push it back to like the end of February, beginning of March.
Okay.
Just because I can't ask people to give to charity when, they're broke because Christmas happened. So gonna push it back a bit to give everyone, a few paychecks to recover. Sometime after Valentine's Day, let's say. More info on that, as we get closer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got a metric ass load of Steam codes to give away. Is it metric ass load? It might be an imperial ass load. I don't actually remember the conversion. But it's coming up on... hang on, I've got it open right here. Go to the bottom. Yeah, it's almost 900 games to give away. Not that I'm going to give them all away, during this one charity stream. But this is just what I've been collecting over the years from Humble Bundles and various other bundles of games and whatnot. And any game that if I buy a bundle, like a $10 bundle that's got 2 games in it I want, and like 6 other games, I'll redeem the code for the 2 games I want, and then the other 6 games I just sort of throw in the pile of games to give out. And it's insane. I'm working on a way to make this giant spreadsheet not overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to be revealing chunks of games based on, I don't know, something, donation amounts or number of achievements I unlock or something. I don't know. If you have any ideas for any of the mechanics of this charity stream, for God's sake, get in touch. Because I don't know. But yeah, I finished Spider-Man Miles Morales, or at least... No, I did finish it. I was going to say at least the streams, but no, I finished New Game Plus off stream a few days ago. So the only things left to do there are 2 achievements that I'm saving for the Chivos for Charity stream. Because they'll probably make me cry, so should probably leave those for the charity stream. I'm almost done with Sea of Stars. I'm almost done with Final Fantasy 2. Yeah, hell yeah. Making progress. I don't know what to do about Mike.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
Again, he said something happened here at BRB, and I don't know if like the roof caved in, or a toilet exploded, or Ashley bumped into the wall hard. Like I don't know.
I would say I don't want to cut him off or anything, but I would say maybe let's just
probably just
let's
in the
wrap
episode.
it up, and yeah, and then if you're gonna be on for a little bit, you might jump on at the end. Well, after the end, but
yeah.
Okay.
So just a reminder, everybody, to do the social media thing. If you're still on Twitter, I refuse to call it X, then my apologies. But hey, go follow me there. It's at the Mana Pool. If you're on Blue Sky, I'm themanapool.bsky.social. If you'd like to be on Blue Sky, let me know and I'll send you a code. I mean, technically I'm on Threads, but I don't use Threads because Threads sucks. And then, of course, there's the YouTube channel, The Mana Pool, where here lately all that gets posted is the show. But there's also the Deep End, which is where the Lord of the Rings videos are gonna go. So yeah, by all means, go subscribe to the Deep End and join the Patreon, because that's where I'm gonna be throwing like early drafts and whatnot, and be like, hey, is this working? So if you want to have some sort of hand in the creation of these things, then by all means, throw $1 a month at me and get in there. It'll be great. But okay then. I tried to stall again to give Mike time to show up, but he didn't. So, yeah, with that, we will be done for 2023, because next week 2 of the 3 dorks will be out of town. 2 of the 3 other dorks. There's 4 dorks, but you know what I mean. So we can't do a show with just 2 of us, so I'll probably just stream something next week. And then join us again in 2024, which for some reason, the 4 makes it sound more like science fiction, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
I don't know why that is. 2023 never sounded like science fiction, but 2024 does.
It's another election year, that's why.
Don't remind me.
And Summer Olympics.
Yeah, don't remind me about that either.
And
Where are they gonna be?
Tokyo was last one. Paris?
Paris doesn't get the Olympics. Come on.
Summer
I think
Olympics
this one's
2024.
Paris.
Yeah, Paris 2024.
Well, dang it. Okay. Sorry, Parisians. Was just kind of messing with you.
Gay Paris.
I still say what they should do is pick, each continent picks a city to host it, and then you just rotate through them, so that way you don't have to keep building new infrastructure all the time. You just update it.
You mean we shouldn't be building buildings that we'll never use again?
Yeah, like poor Brazil. They got shafted with that one for the World Cup. Built all those stadiums, and now none of them are being used.
Didn't they build that with slave labor? Was that Brazil?
No, that was the Middle East country.
Oh, right. Okay, never mind. So I just remember we're getting way off topic. Let's kill this episode. So this has been episode 692 of the Mana Pool, and episode what, Brian? 17?
17. Yep, not including the character creation episode.
Yeah, so the 17th episode of the Heirs of Trivester. Wow. So, yeah, let us know if you think we should go back and fight the Hypnox. Because I'm sure Brian put a lever there just so we can fight a Hypnox.
They do it.
So, yeah, let us know which door we should open. And thank you all so very much for joining us. And all hail the Stone of Convenience.